Hello. Welcome back to
Welcome.
Past the Aisle.
Welcome to Past the Aisle.
It's June 13th, 2019.
I think this is the first show of June, I believe.
Oh, yeah. We missed the first one. So,
Yeah.
sorry, I forgot to update you. We went camping last week, and that was nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
So we went camping out in San Onofre for 1 week.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of time to go fishing.
Yeah.
And caught nothing.
A little too much time to get skunked.
But that was surprising, even though you guys have, bait and didn't. I mean, your dad caught everything as usual.
Yeah. I mean,
He
thank
has
goodness.
a secret touch.
Thank goodness. I always feel like Jenna and I would always kid, like, if we caught something first, it's not a good trip until our dad catches something. Because then the joy is just like really now vibing with everyone. Because that's like my father's passion, so
Yeah.
it's cool.
He wasn't too excited though when he caught
He's
it.
always on the down though, but on the inside he's really excited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I just reeled it up and then I caught
If
something.
he wasn't excited, he would stop fishing.
Oh, okay.
That if he didn't believe he could catch anymore. But even when it was like, because he had already caught in that one leopard shark when we were like,
He was
it was
satisfied?
already cold. Yeah, he's like, when I get one, I'm cool. So
That's good. I mean, that was a good size.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good size. Anyway, yeah. So last show we had Courtney on,
Yep.
and so now that we're having possible guests on, we're definitely going to have another guest on, a couple more that I have my eye on. Surprise later on. Not really surprised. I already kind of announced it, but I wanted to break it up where we have a chance to like touch base before we invite another guest on, because I was telling you this morning, like it's still about us.
Yeah.
And I remember my time being in podcasting, like it was all about numbers and who you could get, and it was very shallow,
Yeah, it's always a clickbait when it comes
very
to.
clickbaity.
I mean, when anything new comes out, everyone wants to ruin it, like you said, with marketing.
Yeah.
So
the
you
quote
know,
is
people- yeah.
marketers ruin everything. That's
Yeah.
the quote. Yeah.
Well, now, we want to just produce authentic content, be real, be out here, show our true self, our relationship in business.
Yeah.
So that's what Past the Aisle is about. And let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to say that out loud.
Yeah.
Because, I just see it more and more, especially with, we keep talking about social media. We just watched all of the Black Mirror episodes. That was all about the dangers of social media and the overuse and the tendency to look at numbers.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm clearly sick of social media. After not being on Instagram throughout the entire camping, I felt so much happier.
Yeah.
Like, I seriously never been into Instagram.
I caught you, though, many times.
What do you mean?
I caught you going on your phone.
Yeah, that was just checking emails like
No.
usual.
You're on Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's like, and I just remind you, like, oh, it's not the reason why we're here. And even when we'd be in the tent afterwards, when it's ready to go to sleep, and we have the habit of looking at our phones before we sleep, and then in my mind, I'm like, this is not why I'm here, but I'm on here anyway. And you're just brainlessly scrolling.
Yeah.
I think when you're brainlessly scrolling, you're not even seeing anything cool or funny or something like that. Like, you're not getting anything from it, but you're just like, the habit of doing it.
It's like the modern day book before you sleep. You just need to tire your brain out. So, I mean, that's how I use it.
Yeah.
I just need to see a bunch of content until
You're, like, zoned out.
Yeah, my brain is exhausted.
Yeah, I would go to, like, how I would rationalize it, too, like, before we go to sleep, I'm like say after we did our thing and it's, like, time for us to go to sleep, but we have to come down from that, like, we have to calm our minds down. And so I'll be like, oh, I have to read now. So I go on Mashable or Dig, and I try to read something. And that would be my rationalization, like, at least I'm not on Instagram, and I'm reading something on the phone. And then you'll be like, okay, this is so goddamn boring, I'm going to just go to sleep now.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm like still learning how to sup surf, and I'm just getting inspiration from a lot of articles. So
I think that's fine. It's
yeah.
like,
I mean, I just
to learn.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm just watching that before I sleep now.
I'm just talking about the brainless surfing.
Yeah.
Scrolling, I mean. Brainless scrolling that you're doing on Instagram or Facebook. I find myself doing that a lot. I'm like, I'm just here because of the motion.
Yeah.
The habit of going on your phone and immediately just checking Instagram.
Yeah, it's like, so, I mean, the topic feels like today is to...
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
I have some stuff
of
I
how
wanna talk
social
about.
media is, taking away from the actual life. Like, without Facebook, without Instagram,
Yeah.
you have so much time in the world.
Yeah.
Which is very true.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't spend that time looking down your phone or interacting to whoever's commenting on your photos or whatever, right? You have a lot more time to do the other stuff.
Yeah.
Even though, it's like, it then comes back to like the dopamine effect where everyone chimes in, comments, hey, praises your work and all that, right?
You're like,
and you're like,
cool,
oh, thank you.
you.
And then you go to your actual job, which is not that cool, right?
Yeah.
And it takes you longer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's like the factor, the con of social media, I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
And you tend, like, with the internet nowadays, I mean, when we first dated, I don't feel like I bought as much stuff. But nowadays, I feel like
You
every
buy a lot of
freaking
stuff.
day, we're on Amazon, just click add to cart, click add to cart.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I need this. I think I need this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then an idea that pops in your head, or for myself, right? An idea that pops in my head that I want to bring more of a unique photo for my clients. Then I start to think all the tools that I need to put that together, and I start adding it to cart. And it's bad.
What did you add to the cart lately?
So-
Some light thing, I think, right? I didn't even look
Yeah.
at it.
So what I'm adding currently in my cart is a 8x11 mirror and an iPad holder to hold that mirror. So I found a mirror that's the same size as the iPad Pro. So it can have that clamp just like how we hold our phones on a tripod.
Yeah.
And then I found a tripod mount to mount it on my tripod. So now I can move this mirror
Yeah.
for any creative angles versus telling someone to
Why
hold
do you
this
need a
mirror for me. More creative reflection type photos or, whatever I can. I'm just seeking more inspiration and doing different things. But, but before, it wasn't that easy of access. You have to hop in your car, go to Target, go shop around a little bit,
I see what
add
you're
it in
saying.
your basket,
Yeah.
and then contemplate if you actually need it in line, and then you take it out.
But you still do that on Amazon. You like put a bunch of stuff in your cart, and
Yeah.
then it would just like stay there, and then it'd be like, oh, save for later.
Yeah, but I still feel like it's so accessible that we still buy things a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes to show like you must have your own self-control.
Need self-control, definitely.
And,
I mean, this past when we were camping, right?
Yeah.
I needed self-control from not eating.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you were
I-
gonna say the long fin for your board.
No, not that. It was like eating like crazy. Like
Yeah.
I was trying to really hone down.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
freak,
it's easy
man.
if I don't make anything for you.
And then I'm like bashing myself, and I'm like, fuck, I
Why are you bashing
gained
yourself?
2 pounds. I'm like, fuck, I need to go back down
Yeah.
to 168.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went back to 170, and I'm
2
like,
pounds?
Yeah.
Really?
I
You
was like-
bashed yourself for 2 pounds?
yeah, because I'm leading to somewhere. I mean, my goal was to go down to 165 or 160 at least. I
Yeah.
mean, that's it for the year is like, maintain 160 as long as you can. And then once that another level hits, go down from there. But, I just overate. Like,
Yeah.
and then
But you ate the same as everybody else.
And then we had a little tendency of, or it's me, right? I'm like, let's go out and eat. Let's
Yeah.
go out and eat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I need to control myself from doing that. And then I realized, and that's why I kind of got mad at myself. I'm like, man, that $81 freaking meat really killed me. I was like, if we didn't go out, if it wasn't for me wanting to go out, I wouldn't have spent $81 for a shitty meal.
Yeah.
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 I felt really bad after that. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I fucking just wasted money right there.
I mean, money can always be earned.
Yeah, I know, but
I think you're more mad at the fact that like collectively maybe you're realizing that you go out a lot.
no, yeah, I realize we've been going out a lot, and it's because of me. Like I can't like, I just need to do shit or something. I need it, but then I don't know. Like I get really cabin fever from just staying in the office for too long, and then going outside. It's either really hot, windy, or there's flies attacking me. And then I don't feel motivated to go outside around our neighborhood, and I want to just go out to another city, right, that doesn't have all that, right? But at the same time, then there's like no one available to hang out, right? So that's why I was like, let's go out.
But then when we do that, like it costs money to travel because we're far away now.
Yeah.
Kind of like, and then it costs money to just entertain your brain. I think you're like, well, what do we do when we get down here? Well, we either buy something.
Yeah.
Or
or
we
eat.
Shop or eat, right? And eating costs a lot.
Yeah, mostly it's eating. Like I feel we don't shop as much anymore because we do it all online now. But it's eating mainly. Eating and drinks cost a lot. Yeah. And then it just adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we watched documentaries on Netflix recently, and they would talk about that, how our culture, millennials, would always keep going out to eat, and then they come back and they're like, they can't afford a house, they can't afford, a car payment or things because
we don't fall into that category.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying not to fall in eating every day, eating out every day. Like today, I'm like staying aware that I'm not going Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out since it's around the corner, or say that I'm hungry, let's go eat.
I assume that because like I'll make you food, and then I make you a lot of food. Yeah. But then you freaking waste it. I get mad because you're like, you tell me like, oh, let's save money, and it's our money that we're buying when we go buy a Costco or whatever, and we do it in a way that saves us time and stuff. And I'm like, and I just threw away like a bunch of food that I made for you. It's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to like not have a lot of salt for you. Yeah. And then what I don't understand is like, like Hovik offered you ketchup, right? Yeah. It's just so retarded. Not retarded, but like dumb. And then you're like, oh, I can't have ketchup because it has sugar. Yeah. And then like we go to In-N-Out and you put all the spread, you have the cheese, you do all the things, and like I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Well, that's self-control. Like someone myself has to control. So it's little by little, and however I kind of manage it. Yeah. I mean, you will see it on the outside, but it is like a drug. I don't know what you have that you can't control, right? If I was to take that little thing from you, you will try your best not to do it, but then it will come out in other ways, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm trying to fight against myself. But I'm giving you alternatives. For example, cheese. Processed cheese on a cheeseburger, which you always get. Yeah. You never say no cheese, right? And I'm like, dude, if you just eat organic cheese, you can have cheese. Just don't eat the processed cheese, right? Yeah, so but I mean, alternative. You give me alternatives, but we're still going out and eat. So I was like, sort of like, fuck it in a way. We're out and we're eating. Yeah. I'm not going to eat cheese at home because no matter what, cheese adds more calories to the actual food. Yeah, but you just make rationalization like we're out, so I'm just like, so fuck it. That's a little like, you just dig yourself deeper, you know what I mean? Well, that's what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying not to eat outside as much. Yeah. But I mean, like, you're very extreme in weird ways. Like, I don't want to have ketchup, but then you'll have spread. Or you'll have waffles after every meal. Yeah. It doesn't make, like, you dipping in ketchup one time, right? Or twice or whatever. But it's still self-control. I'm still trying to handle that. It's been how long since my checkup was February, right? It's still, no, I mean, you've been like that forever, but
But then, you know, I've been logging since the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that's been keeping me afloat. But then once we, if I stop logging, I think I'll just eat whatever. But it's been helping me.
Yeah, you log all your stuff. I think you
control.
Your weight went down a lot too.
I mean, my weight went down, but I wanted to go down further. Yeah.
Well, at least you're progressing.
Yeah. I mean, I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now it's like really hot, and I was blacked out.
But you got to do something about it.
It's too hot.
Why?
Yeah, but add a fan.
Why didn't you go get a fan?
I wanted to condition and see if it works.
This is what I don't. You do this a lot. So you'll put yourself in a really shitty situation,
mm-hmm.
and then you'll complain to me.
Yeah.
Like when you came out of the gym, you're like, whatever, and then I'm like, dude, we have 5 fans.
Yeah.
You're like, do your parents have any more fans? I was like, they gave us 5 fans. Why don't you go get one?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you do that?
Well, I didn't want. I mean, I'm done.
Is it a lazy thing?
I didn't want to really use those types of fan in the gym. It wasn't like I felt it need like a more powerful type fan.
It is better than nothing. Like,
yeah.
This is weird to me. Like, I'll just wait till I have the most expensive big ass fan. Like, oh, it's got to be sleek and expensive and like high tech and fucking shit. And I'm like, why? It just has to cool you down.
Yeah. but still, I didn't. Well, yeah, the part of it was laziness. I didn't want to go in.
Okay, I just want you to own up to it. That way, and you're talking about self-control, right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I found, like in learning how to have more self-control, because obviously I've gone through my own depression with food because I can't eat so many things.
Yeah.
It's been really hard on me, and so what I do is like, okay, well, I cannot be in denial where it's like I just make excuses for myself so I can eat certain things.
Mm-hmm.
That's really easy to do. Like when we go out and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do anything, so I'll just have this hamburger.
Yeah.
But what happens, like, I get such a bad reaction to eating white bread and all that stuff, right? When it's not gluten-free. And I'm like, dude, why do I do that to myself? Why lie to myself? Like, why do I put up excuses for myself?
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to have more self-control and make my health better and stuff, like, why do I fucking do that? The same thing with you. And I know you're going to have your own journey. And, like, I have my own journey with food, too. But it starts with, like, you got to call yourself out. You can't just we're out, so fuck it. Like, that's what I said to myself, too, when we had those sliders and we had the hamburger or we had the Carl's Jr. And then what happened? Now I'm dealing with this thing right now. It's called Proctalgia Food Jacks. Look that shit up.
Yeah, I already looked it up.
That's not, I'm telling the audience.
Oh.
Like, look that fucking shit up. It is not pleasant, all right? There's like, okay, so I'm not going to go into detail about that. But anyway, I'm like thinking of like, dude, so now I'm dealing with this for over 3 days because why? Probably all that shit that I'd like made excuses for myself.
Yeah.
You know? So it has to start now, like in your mind, like right now. I can't just be like, well, I'm just going to make an exception when we go out. Because then you'll never practice real self-control.
Yeah.
It's like a fake self-control.
Yeah.
Because you give yourself that, again, when you speak your language, dopamine. When you get the cheeseburger, when you put on the spread, when you get the grilled onions, like, because you're so attached to it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm fucking sad every time my mom comes or I go visit my mom or, like, if we go out, anywhere we go out, I can't even eat it.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that you physically could not eat the food that you love. Like, you would get a knife in your tummy.
Yeah.
Or in your asshole. The feeling, right? If you try to eat that shit. Then you would probably change really quick. But because the only thing that really changes with you, I think, because there's no physical pain on you. It's like, okay, yeah, I know I'm going to get diabetes, but like there's nothing immediate. Yeah. It's something more future, so it's not so immediate. And so I think that's why it's a little bit harder for you, because there's not this immediate like stab in your tummy if you eat the bad food. Yeah. But you have to do that to yourself and be like, nope, like, yeah, even though it's in the future, it is like immediate when I take on those things. So I don't know. That's my experience. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
It's your journey.
it's
though.
true. Yeah, I mean, each person, every person we speak to, they have their own issues,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's self control, and self control is probably the most challenging thing that you have to just face in your life.
It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
It is very weird. Without, like, I guess that's the yin and yang with just anything that you're so passionate about.
What do you mean, like
right?
food?
Like food. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's a lot of foodies out there, and ever since the food culture came alive, with Anaheim Packing House, with food trucks, everyone became a foodie, and now to do health checks, right? They're probably very addicted to that lifestyle and self-control, right? I mean, we never went into a lot of those events, but I was always into going to like whatever's the best, whatever's going to give us a tasteful experience. And yeah, self-control is hard.
Why do you think you're so attached to food? What do you think that goes back to?
I mean, so we spoke earlier, like a few shows back, that it's always been how I was raised. Like, my mom never cooked, my dad never cooked, so we always went out anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay.
So it kind of went to, back to the origins. Yeah, they worked their ass off, and what they got was just a bunch of to-go stuff, and then we would just do a bunch of to-go plates every day.
Yeah. So
And
that's what you're used to.
So I've been used to that, and I know it's like a habit probably, right? And then once I started to drive, I feel like that made it even worse, because I would just drive myself and get shit.
Or it's easier to get.
Yeah. You would just go wherever you want, whatever you think of, and you just go.
Do you think that, because when you, like, your parents are separated, right? So when you guys would eat out, would you all finally be all together? Or they bought you to go and you eat it by yourself?
Most times they're working, so the food is already there. I would just make it for myself, and then I would just eat.
So it's like,
Yeah.
So it's like, but you guys never had like a family meal together. Never sat down together.
Occasionally, sometimes, like, we'll go to restaurants, and that's the only time.
But you're still going out. It's not.
We're still going out.
Home-cooked meal.
Rarely you'll do home cooked meals. Yeah, very rare. My dad was a workaholic, and basically probably dragged my mom along in working
But
with
your mom
him.
likes to go out, right?
No, I mean workaholic.
Oh,
They were
work- to work,
workaholics,
yeah.
so they would work from probably 6 a.m. all the way to like 12 a.m., sometimes like 2 a.m. And there was never a vacation.
No family vacation.
No family vacation. I think the only vacation we ever did together was like going to Disneyland, but then that only happened like once.
One
Yeah.
time. One
So-
time you had family vacation.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean that's the lifestyle. It was his goals probably of what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see the mirror. Because
Yeah.
with us, like, it makes me understand like why you like to go out, because that's the time we usually get to spend together.
Yeah.
Because we do the same shit, right? Like, you'll work from the morning
Yeah.
to the night, and you would expect me to do that before, until I finally told myself I'm going to take breaks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a damn. But we used to both follow this very, like, you expect me to work all
Yeah.
day long, and I feel like the moment I was not working or something, there was probably something in you thinking she's not working,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I felt that too, like, subconsciously. But then I let that shit go, and I told you why, is because
Yeah.
it's like too much strain in my eyes, getting a lot of migraines. Like, look now, I don't get migraines.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. But I see that mirror where it's like, when we sit down to have family meal together, which is it's just us, but like you're so ready to get up and go, and I'm like, now I can calmly and like not take it personally and say,
Yeah.
you know, I worked really hard to make this.
Yeah.
So fucking enjoy it.
I'm enjoying it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and then you'll remember.
Yeah.
But most of the time you don't remember. And then most of the time too, I'm just like, I'm understanding because like whatever, like work, whatever. But it gets in the way. I think that habit of like not really having the opportunity to be at home and have somebody cook you something.
Yeah.
And before you can just get it right away.
Yeah.
And you don't really see what goes into making food. Like the other day we were watching a chef documentary, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, holy crap, like that's what goes into fried rice?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, you know, in the background. And I'm like, and there's so many times I'm in the kitchen and you're working, and I know that your work, it involves a lot as well. But sometimes I also see that you don't see the work involved in the kitchen and to prepare food and all the work that goes into that. And the actual like skill to make food. Like before I met you, I didn't know how to cook.
Yeah.
And I learned how to cook because I want to cook for you.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was a really good motivator to go, okay, cool, I have this theory just like photography. And I'm like, these are the ingredients I have. And it's not always going to be what's in the book, but how do I still make it tasty?
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a skill there. There's like real work and skill that you need to learn and have time and practice and all that shit to get to the point where I am today, where it's like, if there's something in the fridge, I can make something. And you'll be like, oh, it's good. I'm like, sweet, cool.
Yeah.
But it took time and work and energy to do it. Versus when you just go out, they have this like cut and dry recipe. They have hella preservatives. You don't know where the meat came from and all that stuff. And it's so weird that you don't question it when it's outside. When we go out, like, what's the quality of this meat? Is it organic? Is it this, and that? And I'm like, and then when we try to cook something at home, and like if I try to save money and buy like non-organic chicken, or I'm like, dude, it's the same chicken. Mm-hmm. But then you're like more averse to it. Like it's not marketed to you in a way that like suits your habit of receiving food.
Yeah.
And that's what gets frustrating for me. But I try to be understanding because I understand where you're coming from. You know, like that's your upbringing and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think in order for us to move forward and like to help you too, because I don't want you to be attached to food, and like I see you struggling.
Yeah.
you put yourself there, and I'm like, I'm here. Like we can cook healthy stuff. But then I get swept up in it too because it is so easy to just go and buy something. Because it takes time and energy to make food. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, fuck, man. Yeah. It just took so long to make this, and you finished it so quickly, you know, or I'll finish it so quickly, and then like it's done, I got to go do it again. You know, so that's what cooking at home feels like for the wife if she does all the cooking. Yeah. That's what it feels like. So sometimes it's like it's so tempting and easy and fun to go out because I'm not making it. Like I get to be served too. Like, oh good, I don't have to clean and wash and soak the pan and worry about the oil getting down my sink and all that shit, you know. So I get it. But like maybe we can find a middle ground where we like, you know, like we went out the other day and I said, what's our spending cap? Because we went out to go have whiskey with Hovik. Yeah. But you didn't say anything. So I was like, okay. So it must be like a free-for-all. But maybe we'll have like a eating out cap. Yeah. And then if you can, like, that simplifies it a lot. You're like, oh, I'm going to only eat out 3 times a week this forever or whatever, like whatever you want to do. Yeah. And then it'll just give you some structure where it's kind of brainless, like, nope, this is not my eating out day. And I only have 3 or 4 days or whatever you want to do. Yeah, I think that will work. Yeah, sometimes I always think like I like it when we have engagements or I have shoots or I have shoots during the weekend. You're gonna go out. So I don't look at Amazon. I don't spend. I don't. You know, I'm always working. So I was like, that's cool. You know, like it's a good balance. Yeah, but you're relying on something else to control you. That's a habit of yours as well. You're like, Remember with the whole diet, you're like, if you just cook me everything, I was like, what the fuck? That's hard.
Yeah.
Like, if you just tell me what to eat, if you just figure out how much calorie, I was like, what the fuck? No. I was like, I'm trying to do that for me. It's so hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have to take some responsibility of your own, you know, your own life. So, Chi, like, if you're relying on work to give you control, that means you're going to work forever. You're going to search for it forever.
Yeah.
You're going to always never be relaxed. And, like, that's not good. You know, you should look at your father and go, oh, he's, like, stressed out, but he's younger than everybody.
Yeah.
Like you told me, right? I was like, yeah, maybe that's because he's always looking for something to do and he can't really enjoy relaxing as well. And you must be able to enjoy both because you'll, like, just work yourself to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much good that comes from being ambitious, for sure. But you can be ambitious and also relaxing because you want to take care of yourself, right? Like, you want to, like, tomorrow I'm so happy that you're going to go surf by yourself. Like, you're making the time. Like, you're not relying on me.
Steven's coming out
Oh, okay.
to hang out.
Well, it's good. I mean, whatever. But you're going on your
Yeah.
own, kind of, and not relying on something else to, like, oh, you're not going, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, now you're putting it on somebody else,
Yeah.
right? The control, like, take control, you know. And then,
Yeah.
like, with the work, it's okay. Like, the work will always be there, but your health is not always going to be there. Yeah, and, like, people are always saying, like, you look older than what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we are. I'm older.
Well, you're old. You're not that old, you know. So I
Yeah.
just don't want you to forget about relaxing. Also,
Yeah.
like taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's true.
I speak like for 90 minutes, and you're like, cool.
No.
What a great show.
No, I think it's true. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just I'm looking on the outside.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what I have to do in self-control. Yeah. And it's just baby steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
It's-
are making progress.
It's easier to say it than doing it. So.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not about to give up cheese. I love cheese. And you're like, I love bread, right?
Yeah.
Right, breads are like number one thing. But like, you can find ways around it. Like, okay, I was like, okay, cool. So I just have to eat the right kind of cheese. There's some cheeses I can't eat. And then it has to be really high quality cheese. And I always feel like a little like stingy about spending more on organic cheese. I'm like, it's like $3 more.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get in my head and be like, me too, because I've always been kind of like on the cheap side, not really willing to spend for the expensive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're like, give me the best thing, right? I'm like, give me the thing that works. But sometimes that's not good, because on one end of the spectrum, you're like, give me the best thing where maybe it's not the best for you.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, give me the cheapest thing, and I'm like, that's going to break tomorrow.
Huh.
Right? So, like, can you find a middle ground? So I think in terms of our spending habits, like, find a middle ground, something that works for you. I think you're making great compromises. Like, again, you wanted the best board. Like, it had to be custom and all this shit, but at least it was used.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not spending $2,000 on it.
Yeah.
Right? And then with me, I'm like, okay, like, I need to start eating better, so I'm going to stop buying the cheapest shit possible when I'm really stuck in that cheap mind. So yeah, just making those like compromises to come in the middle where it's like, yeah, you're getting good value, but you're not spending the most and being outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm also seeing. I mean, we're both changing every year, changing our mentality. The things that sort of stopped is, I would say, for us is there's so many things to do on our plate,
Like
right?
what? Like in business?
No, not in business. Like outside of business, it's like there's like a list in my head of what things I need to do as well. Is like
Can you tell me?
making sure I clean the windows.
Yeah.
I want it, I want a place that's clean, right? Like, I don't like looking out and it's like,
That's so funny because, like, in the inside, it
Yeah.
can be really messy.
yeah. No, I want to clean the house as well.
So,
Yeah.
and then I clean, I do my
Yeah.
thing. And then, but they'll just, the windows for you, like, you own that job. So I think you're just
Yeah.
really proud of, like, because you bought the whole tools and everything. And, like,
Well,
it's
I
like your
like it.
thing.
Yeah, I like it.
I feel that way about, like,
I would like to
certain
clean my
clothing.
car as well, but there's just, it's,
Well, you're going to get the car wash.
yeah, I
soon
know.
enough.
But it's just like, if it wasn't for the damn flies, I would clean the car.
I don't know about that because, like, even when we were in Yorba Linda, you would do it maybe twice a year, honestly.
Yeah, because it keeps on raining, like, randomly. And
See,
then,
so there's always something, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're trying to build self-control, you
Yeah.
must be self-aware.
yeah.
So this weird thing where you're like, you have all these little backup excuse, or like
Yeah.
rationalizations. It's more like a rationalization.
Yeah.
It's really not true. So it's like if you can pinpoint, like, oh, this is just a small thing,
Yeah.
it can stop bothering you.
Yeah, other things, like, sometimes I wish for us is to have, I know it's our lifestyle that we've been in business for so long, and everything we do at home, because I bring it up, right? Most times I bring it up is because it's business, like, or I have an idea or things like that, right? Yeah, like, I'm trying to think of what else I can talk about.
You're saying that you want to talk about something else, but it always ends up being business?
Yeah.
I see.
It's like I want to break free a little bit from photography. Like, I know we have weddings like this weekend. I know that. And a lot of business owners will probably know what I'm going through. Yeah, is that, when you live and breathe your business,
That's what it is.
you want an outlet, right? So, I mean, my outlet currently is going out to the ocean to paddle surf and all that. But then when speaking to your spouse is different.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak to you about paddle surfing all the live long day. You'll be like, I don't know anything about this, and I don't know what you're experiencing, right? So I want to find, like, another common ground where we can just, speak freely, but then not about business. And that's like another self-control, I feel, that either both of us have to be aware of, right? Because you'll have tendencies of, now that you're taking over emails, you would tell me something about so-and-so is looking for this and that, and then the conversation goes on because I think of something else to input to what you were saying, and then it becomes another business talk. Yeah. And I feel something in the back of my mind that it like, I feel drained. Yeah. And then Qual would ask me, why are you so calm on a wedding day?
I'm zoned out, motherfucker.
I'm zoned, yeah. Like, I'm enjoying everything. I'm shooting. I'm creative and all that, right? But then, I am calm because I don't want to be drained. Yeah. Talk about this business more than enough. I do not want to talk about it further.
Did he ask you about business? Is that right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's like,
Well, how did you feel when we went out with Hovik? Because most of our conversation was focused on not business.
well, when we hung out with Hovig, it was good because it was it about business?
Only a little.
Just a little bit.
Very little.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed, like, you guys were just talking and I was just listening because it allowed me just to zone out.
I worry about you sometimes because
Yeah.
sometimes I know I have a tendency to overspeak when I get talking, especially because you don't watch shows or you're not really attuned to, like, current events.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm a jack of all trades, I have my mind in everything. So
Yeah.
I can really talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But, like, I worry about you sometimes because like you'll just be sitting there. You're like, I haven't seen that. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, who is that? Who's like and then I know celebrity names, and you'll be like, how do you remember all these goddamn celebrity names? And I'm like, I don't know. It sounds familiar, you know. Like I just remember, and like I have more of that. Like you have a very like one track mind for so long, which was like your business, you know, and then like. Because you didn't make time for anything else, and I think because you don't have an interest really for anything else, like I always wonder, like, oh, why don't you like TV shows or play video games or like do anything other than other than obscure sports? Like you didn't play like basketball or soccer, like the popular sports. You do like the obscure sports. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like you're just very niche. You know, your interests are very niche.
It's very niche. It's always been very niche.
Yeah. So
and I don't know. I like.
It's not bad.
I like those type of sports.
I just have the tendency to.
I don't like. It's if I kind of think about it. Yeah, the sports I've been into, like wrestling, it's always been a solo sport. Yeah, it's always been a strength sport, and I feel like I always like strength type of sports, you know, or like weightlifting or just working out, solo again. Surfing is the same thing, solo again.
Well, it matches your upbringing, right?
Yeah.
Like you grew up alone.
Yeah. Community-wise, like soccer.
Like
team sports. I was never into, I like basketball, but I was never into it. I tried playing with the guys and then got injured. And then I was like, I'm not coming back. But I do like tennis, which is solo again.
Yeah, you haven't picked up a tennis racket in years.
Yeah, in years because no one lives around us to want to play.
You have to play, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I really don't know.
Was that okay with you?
TV. I grew up with it. I watched it every day in the shop, you know, after school, and I think I exhausted it too much being young, and I did all my life for probably 8 years of watching intense television that I just got over it. So by the time when I went to public school in 7th to 8th grade, then friends were a little different, right? They were into skating, and then I got into skating, and being out was just the norm.
So how, if you want to talk about more than just business, and obscure sports, because not too many people can relate on that. How will you expand your horizons, I guess, to talk about something other than business and sports?
I don't speak about sports at all, I don't think.
No, you always talk to me about your paddle surfing.
Yeah.
And you've told me this story 5 times.
Oh.
I know already. Please, I know already.
Well, it's not sports, then it would be food.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. I'm if you want to talk about something other than business, what work are you doing? To relate to other people, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most of the people that we hang around, I think in relationship with them, they're in the same industry as us. Mm-hmm. So it's sometimes very hard to not try to bring anything about that industry up.
Why?
Because, I don't know, that's what everyone kind of starts off with, a commonality, right? Mm-hmm. Until, for example, Hovig likes GOT, then it was easy for you to click.
Yeah.
If you watch Breaking Bad, then it would be easy for me to chime in, right? So it all depends, or yeah, or at the Royale, but other than that, no, I wasn't into GOT.
Yeah, you don't need to be.
Yeah, I was never into Lord of the Rings or any of those type fantasy.
No, you said you hate elves. I'm like, okay. I hate elves. I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah, creepy, man.
All right.
But Yeah, was there anything else about that you wanted to speak about today? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have a lot of things. I just
Yeah.
wanted to allow you to speak a little bit more because, like, I sit and edit these things, right?
Yeah.
So I have to listen to myself. And, like, I'm very used to, I love talking. I love talking about emotions and all that stuff. And, like, I love getting my voice out because I never did it when I was young.
Yeah.
So I love this platform. So I was like, I need to find more ways to get Chi involved because I'll speak for 90 minutes, like I said, and you'll be like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not a good, like, interaction or engagement. And I wanted you to feel more, like, free to speak.
Yeah.
You know, like the moment I would see little blips of it where you're feeling you could talk and you could like really dig in deep to what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And I want to give you the chance to like not speak over you.
Yeah.
And, like, I wanna
But
hear
I
it.
noticed that you do talk a lot when you're drunk. A lot.
You
Like,
already know that. I told you
yeah,
that.
me and Hovig are just like staring and you're just going off. Like,
But he asked me. You asked me about
And
coffee.
then-
I'm going to tell you
and
about
then
coffee.
everyone's fingers are like, yeah.
Okay. Talk too much. All right. Well, that's
But,
why right now I'm like, I want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got everything out of my head of what has been in back of my mind is,
Well, you didn't tell me all the things that were bothering you. It can't just be flies and car wash and windows. You said there's so many things on your plate other than business.
yeah, like cleaning the home, like the inside.
But dude, you never do that. Like I do that.
No, I always think that if I,
But that's our trade. Like, you know, you work very hard. So I'm like, cool.
no, I want to clean sometimes. I feel like cleaning is very therapeutic.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
just like mopping the floor and
Yeah,
zoning
I
out.
love mopping.
I just like zoning out. Just, it's a brainless job.
Yeah.
So it allows the brain to relax. And I feel like that's
Then why
why.
don't you do it?
Well, then no one edits.
No, but that's one day, right? Like
Yeah.
you're crazy and you like to edit everything in one day. You still have the rest of the days.
No, I have an agenda and I always stick with my agenda. And if the agenda like goes to a different day, it just pushes everything else back. Since we have a wedding schedule, we know what's coming up in the week. And I already know from past experiences how stressed it will feel when you have all these events lined up already. And if your edit is just like a day before that event. So it's not fun. So that's why I already know what I'm going through. So I'd rather get it done.
But okay, so there's so many times where you'll be done working out or you'll be done editing,
Yeah.
and then you'll just hide away upstairs.
Yeah.
And you're on your phone.
Yeah.
I
Because
know
it's
you're on your
brainless.
phone. I know. So, but you just said, "Oh, I want to clean the house." You've never done that. To be like, so you always choose the phone.
Yeah.
Over the cleaning, which you say you want to do. I don't know why, if you're being recorded and you want to say something nice.
Yeah.
But like you always are on the phone and like you're so quiet up there doing your thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you're always talking about like not being on your phone or you're so stressed out or
Yeah.
hate social media, but you're like stuck in the wheel basically, or you're stuck in the system.
So being on the phone is in the system.
That's
Like,
what you say. I'm just calling you out to what you said to me. You're like, I hate being on my phone all the time and I want to put my phone away. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, but that's what you do after you work out. You'll not take a shower immediately after you work out, which
Yeah.
is like, that's why you break out. And I keep telling you, I'm like,
Yeah.
you should take a shower right after you work out because it's all that shit settles into your pores and then your pores close and then you break out.
yeah.
And then what you do is you go back, you be on the computer,
Mm-hmm.
and you sit and answer emails instead of taking a shower.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just wonder why you continually dig yourself into these really weird places.
I don't know. It's
But
like,
I just remind you.
it's sort of like,
But I want to nag you.
but
Like,
it's like,
that's why.
I mean, I guess that's like sort of, you're on just hiatus.
Oh, what does that mean?
Well, it's like uncontrollable, or it's been a habit or something for so
Uh-huh.
long that you don't even realize that you're doing it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help.
Mhm.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did bring awareness, but yeah, I really don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't want to keep trying to like if my job is to support you, right,
Mhm.
as your wife and stuff. So I'm trying to think about all the little things that I could do.
Yeah.
I can't do everything, but I can do some things, and I can remind you sometimes to like, hey, if you take a shower, you
Yeah.
won't break out, and you hate breaking out.
Yeah.
I know that, and then it doesn't make you feel confident and all that stuff, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm like, so why continue to do that?
Yeah.
And I just remind you, like, you just easily could just go take a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Like, what do you need support with?
I need support with words of affirmation,
Yeah, words of affirmation.
which I know is not your strong point. I know your strong point is to buy me stuff. So, like, the other day you bought me shoes because I was about to go pay for my shoes, and you're like, I got it. And I'm like, oh, it's trying to give me something, you know. And I'm like, that's great. I love that. Don't stop doing that. That's great. But what I really need from you is, like, say I think of something good in our marketing, and you see the results, right?
Yeah.
What I'm so fucking thirsty for is like, oh, good job, Chi. I really appreciate you coming up with like that or whatever, and like you acknowledge that what my job basically.
Yeah.
Because like for me to come into your world, to come into wedding photography, to do second photography with no pay.
Yeah.
Right? With no questions.
Yeah.
Because it's expected in my head and where I came from before I met you.
Yeah.
In Taekwondo, it was very militaristic. You did what your master, your teacher said out of respect. It's like Clarif. It's like how my master is right now, or my past master in Taekwondo. They expect you to give 110% with a very low pay. If that.
Yeah.
And that's like expected of you. And I was like, so I was used to it because that's how you were.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't say anything. At the same time, because I was burnt from that experience, I was really like conflicted about, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of again. But I don't really know how to like, I know Kevin loves me and all that stuff. Like I know we're doing this kind of like together, but I don't like how to communicate the parts that I feel that I'm taking advantage. There's great parts, but there's some parts where I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, but I don't know how to communicate that.
Yeah.
And I was just quiet. Like, it's not your fault that I was quiet. That's me bringing in my trauma into our relationship and not being able to communicate to you because you were like, what the hell? Like, talk to me. Like, and I'd be like, just lock you away and shut you out and all that's, when we were first together. And then finally, when I learned it was safe to speak, but I did it in such a way that was hurtful almost, and it like scared the shit out of you. You're like, oh, don't ever say anything to this lady, she's gonna leave me. So like we had that moment where it's like, oh, I can speak up, but I did it in such a way that came from like a hurtful place, a traumatic place. And it kind of probably scared you. Like, you told me it scared you. It's like, dude, if I say anything out of line, it's like, you're going to leave me.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's such a bad thing to hold over people. Like, I'll fucking leave you if you don't do this.
Yeah.
Like this, it's very Asian style where it's called conditional love.
Mm-hmm.
I only love you if you're doing this for me.
Yeah.
It's not unconditional, right? Like, and we both grew up that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you don't do this, it feels like, I'm sure your parents love you, and I'm sure my parents love me no matter what.
Yeah.
But when you're young, it's like, if you don't get an A, I don't love you. That's what it feels like. So, like, we bring all this fucking trauma into our real adult relationship, and so that's why we're, like, 10 years later still figuring shit out, which is okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Because
I have somebody who's willing to do the work and willing to figure it out, even though we're like, oh, we're fucked up. Oh, but we can figure it out.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, coming into your thing, your world, and then, like, I learned your craft, and that's why I was telling you, I empathize so much with all of our seconds. Because they're not you in the way that they can't strive through and be really laser focused on what they want.
Yeah.
Like, I want this. Nobody will get in the way. We're more like, it's more important for us to be surrounded by good people doing good work that we're proud of, that we don't necessarily have to like feel the whole weight or the whole responsibility. Like, I'm sure you feel an incredible weight and responsibility of this company that you've built, right? I get that. I understand that because I feel like I've been on both ends.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, it's so nice and comfortable for me to be where I'm in a position of support. But for me, what I need from you, and I think what the rest of our team needs, is a nurturing words of affirmation, no matter what their upbringing is.
Yeah.
And I've seen the incredible result of making that change.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm going to tell you did a really good job. I'm going to show you in the pay that you make. You don't have any question or assumption or like, do they really value me, or are they just taking advantage of me? And like, I've had that experience where it's like, I know I'm really good because everybody tells me I'm really good. And I feel it too. Like, I feel like I'm in my groove. Like, for example, the Taekwondo thing. Like, I feel it. But what my masters or what my teacher want from me is like everything, but they don't want to pay me anything. And they don't want to tell me or recognize me in a verbal way. They just think that you get it because, oh, like, for example, they'd be like my master would never say, good job, you're doing such a good job. I appreciate the time that you spend here, and you stay after, and you clean, and you teach the kids, and you just, I see that you dedicate a lot of time, like I see you, right? No, they'll never say anything like that. They'll just be like, I think you can skip this bell. Or they would pay for one of my testings. Yeah. And then I have to assume, oh, so I'm doing a good job? Okay. So you kind of get used to like this indirect way of being acknowledged or recognized, but you don't really know. Yeah. You don't really know what they're thinking. And then maybe they'll do something that doesn't feel like normal. Yeah. And you're like, oh, did I mess up? And they never are straight with you. Always indirect. Always indirect about if I messed up or if I'm doing good. So you don't feel secure. You don't feel safe. And you're trying to give and support and be the best worker that you can be or whatever. And it's like, but I don't hear shit. And like, the moment I changed that with the team and stuff, they changed immediately. I was like, oh.
Did your parents ever give you words of affirmation?
Yeah, later.
Later? Like, how later?
Like when I'm older.
Like when?
Like in my 20s.
Oh, in your 20s. So nothing 20s. For sports or academic or...
Yeah, I think so.
Growing up and everything.
A little, yeah. Still. But the reason, the tricky thing about being young and maybe being just me, like I remember a lot of the bad more. Not that I mean to. It just stings more maybe. So like when you burn your hand on a fire, it's much more memorable than when all the hundreds of times that you were cooking and nothing happened to you. Yeah. So
I would say, it's very similar. Just going back to the upbringing, I think everything spawns from upbringings, right? Yeah. Like, that's why some people are just not self-aware when they're growing up, and when they get into a relationship now, they're trying to match their upbringing with someone else's upbringing and someone's personality with their personality. That's why relationships are sometimes hard, right? You don't know their true self until you actually been with them for a long time. Yeah. But I would say for me, I never had words of affirmation growing up. Maybe that is why I never say any praise to anyone.
I know, but I'm telling you.
But then, you're telling me, but now I'm like self-aware, where I came from.
And with our team, I'm telling you to tell them. You need to just text them really quick. I'll say that a lot, right? Like, just text her really quick.
But I don't text them. I just tell them in the group.
You go the extra mile, so I like that. Yeah.
I just tell them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you made a huge change on that too, B. Like, that's notable. You're slowly making room for others,
Yeah.
especially our team. I think you're. I'm feeling less like. I'm feeling less and hearing less complaining about like how you're gonna do that, how you're gonna afford it, or how like. I think it's more becoming natural to where you're like, yeah, I want to take care of them.
Yeah.
And then boom, like the conversation is like, there's no like extra after that.
Yeah.
Which I'm so like, oh, cool, thank God. Because like I don't want to feel like it's just me.
Yeah.
Or like in say for example a parent situation. Oh, mom gives me everything.
Yeah.
But dad doesn't give me everything. Like that's kind of how I think of our team. It's like I don't want them to pit us against each other or think of us as separate.
Yeah.
We must be on the same page. And if I give you guys some bad news or something or good news, know that it's coming from both of us, that we both made this decision together.
Yeah.
Like for example, not sending somebody on a certain assignment because we don't feel you're ready for it, And then I don't want you to feel this other person to be like, oh, does so-and-so not trust me, but you trust me? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like we are a unit, you and I. And that when we make decisions for the company, it's for the company, right? It's not this weird like favoritism thing or like spiteful or nothing like that. We are professional. We run this business professionally. And that even though there are two people at the top, kind of like we are working together to make the best decision.
Yeah.
And not like going behind each other's back and be like, because that happened to be like, I don't know if I told you, but like in Bell's, I was like, I'm going to make it better than yours.
Yeah, you already told me.
Yeah. But I didn't like that feeling. It started out as like, that's a good intention kind of to like, let's reword that. I want to improve upon the system that I know about.
Yeah.
That's really what I wanted to do. But in my mind,
I wanted to see, it was like the experimental company.
Right.
Yeah. It was like, oh, what can you improve on?
You didn't say it like that. It was like, I don't trust you. I don't trust that guy and this girl. So you just do your thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you a referral because I already booked on that day anyway.
Yeah.
That's how it always came off.
Yeah.
I know that's where it came from too. It's like, because you don't see the value or the potential in us yet. And then that made me angry. So I was just like, well, I'm going to fucking show you. That's how I felt. Like, but it's not a good place to be in to start. Like anger is useful because it makes you act.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to fucking show you. You
Yeah.
know, you get determined and stuff.
Yeah.
Versus before, I'm so like, I can be very, very laissez-faire. Like, just let the chips fall where they may. But because I was angry, I mean, the good side or the bright side is like, oh, we were able to push through.
Yeah.
I was able to find some determination there because otherwise I would not be ambitious.
Yeah.
So whatever,
and I like that feeling that you got that drive, that ambitious
and then I was
mentality,
able to understand you more because you were like, that's what I want to see, right? Like, I don't want to see you be lazy and shit. Like, I don't want to just give you shit. So I get that. Like, you were like, you need to prove to me, basically. And I was like offended because, I'm your girlfriend, so you got to make, special,
I feel like,
I'm your wife, so you got to make like special case.
Like
for
how can you teach someone to be ambitious, right? It's hard. If you don't, you can't teach it. It's like it either comes to you or you're in a state where you need to make some change. Something has to like interrupt your patterns of how you normally do things, right? Or either just like Riverside, you hated your job so much, something has to grow from that you have to go out and do your own thing and escape and do it.
Yeah.
Right? To be ambitious.
For sure.
So for me, I really didn't know how to do it other than that way.
I know.
I was like, let's just do it.
I know.
Yeah.
I forget it, I mean, like, it was a wake-up call for me. It was a lesson that I needed to learn. Like, I look at a lot of the traumatic things that happened in my life. I'm like, the relationship that I had before you, I had no voice. Like, if you met me before, like, you'd be probably hella turned off. You're like, ugh. You know, the only
Yeah.
thing would be like, oh, it's a pretty girl, whatever, but she's fucking, there's nothing going on there.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it was a nice wake up call for me to develop a voice. And you always say strong minded. Like I developed that with you
Yeah.
because you, in a way, indirectly like supported me to go find it. Because I was like, dude, the only way I'm gonna be able to be happy or find happiness with you is like if I voice what I want, not in a way that's like demeaning or totalitarian or like a dictator, but like in a way that's like, no, this is where I am, this is who I am, I've built myself to this, like, so come get it now. So that, like, that's how I would see it. It's like I need to be the best person that I am. And like there were so many times where you did push me to go, okay, so I have to show him that I'm worthy of, or I have to show him that a podcast is worthy of this. How can I do that? And I had to think, like I had to like problem solve. I couldn't just be like, let's do it. And you're like, yay, let's do it. No, there's so many times I had to think outside the box to show you the value of podcasting or marketing the way that I do, or doing anything that we're doing now. You had to be pitched and shown results, and like it's a real business. So like you were just kind of acting like a real CEO basically. And then me to come in with zero experience, zero proof, right? I'm just trying to sell you on like, dude, like some other people are doing this. Like, I feel like we can do this. Like, so I had to just really figure out how to speak and give voice to new ideas. And like, you had your gears were moving.
Yeah.
The machine was working. It's a well-oiled machine. So it's like, I get it. Like I had to really like put a lot of force. It's like a train. It's on a track. It's like, how are you going to move this train off the track? It's got one direction. You can't just go everywhere.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of force to stop that train and to like load it on with new ideas. And can you take on the new load of this idea that's going to weigh a little bit more than what you're used to? Like, so I had to make that kind of like happen, right? So it's cool. Like to me, it's all kind of like meant to be, because those are the lessons I feel like, this is what I believe is like, okay, I had some like massive gaps in my life where I didn't learn how to be outspoken or how to communicate. So like then I got hit with some trauma, right? So you're like, okay, so
or just you're on a tough skin.
right.
Yeah.
And but some people, they don't get out of it, or they turn to drugs, or they turn. So thank God I didn't turn to any of that shit.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I just turned to talking to myself in the car or watching. The reason why I know a lot of celebrity names is I would study other celebrities and how they speak.
Huh.
That was how I got out of being able to speak,
Yeah.
like and not stutter over my words and stuff. So I would imagine that, and I would just practice. And I was like, thank God, like that was my drug. You know, I watch a lot of television, I watch a lot of like things but I was learning from it, like anime and the small, minute detail, like when they draw a certain thing, like we just watched another anime.
Yeah.
And there's so much detail within that anime that made me like pay attention to certain things, and I would learn from that. And the same thing with like celebrity interviews. I just pay attention, like how they sit, or how they even move their head, or whatever. Like I would try to like soak all that shit in. So maybe whenever I speak in a public forum, that I don't look really timid and meek and shy and like not have anything to say.
Yeah.
So I feel like everything that we've gone through, it's just lessons that I'm meant to learn. And it took that time that it took, because whatever, I was like really dumb in that area or whatever, like, and it just took me time. Like, okay, so, because I look at Jenna and she has still some lessons to learn too, but there's others that she really accelerated in.
I think everybody has a lesson to learn.
Yeah, so
Everyone
it's
is
like that.
good at certain things naturally.
And then some you're like zero.
Yeah, and then that's where they would have to fight themselves to
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
to meet at someone else's level,
Yeah.
where they fill in the gap and they're better at that, whereas the other person is not.
And that's why our marriage is so awesome, because I think we do fill in the gap for each other. But we have a very similar upbringing, so we can understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes one person has to understand more than the other.
Yeah.
Like in our toughest time, and I'm sure there's going to be tougher times or another tough time, not tougher, but another tough time later in the future. But like last year, one of us had to be more understanding than the other in several ways.
Yeah.
And so it was a cool little like seesaw. And then like allowing each other to do that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then still be together at the end.
Yeah.
'Cause it gets a lot. It gets intense.
Well, nothing is easy in life.
Nothing's easy. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you'd often be like, why is it hard? I'm like, I guess because it has to be.
Everything is hard.
Everything is
Anything that
hard.
you freaking like to do in life is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like your journey with subsurfing.
And like I told you, yeah, with the journey with subsurfing is like, yeah, anything that you like to do and you want to do it, you want to be there at that level that you see everyone's at, right? But then if it was that easy, then everyone would be doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then if like coffee, if you want to be at those barista levels, right, then everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
And then your passion won't be as fun and challenging anymore.
That's true.
You'll be craving other things.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, I got tested the other day because, like, so the software that we use, just to update you, the software that we used to roast coffee didn't work because they updated it, and it's always a little hinky because it's an open source software, so you kind of just have to like work with all the little glitches and then somehow you figure it out. And that's how we did it the first time. The second time around, they've got this new sleek system, and we try to do it. Even Chi tries to do it, can't figure it out. And then I was like, fuck, man. So what am I going to do? Just like not roast? No, I had to roast. Like my aunt ordered some coffee, and I was like, I got tested because I started to think, am I just not going to roast now because I don't have access to this software? And I was like, no, I'm going to freaking learn how to do it on the little panel of the machine. And I figured out how to do it. And it was so cool. It was like a little moment for myself, just being, because I want to be a coffee roaster. Like I want to have that like after my name. Like I want to be very knowledgeable. I want to be up there. I want to do that whole thing. And I'm like, I'm in it. I'm like, right now, like history is being made. Kind of like I tell myself, like the motivation, like history is being made. Like I'm fucking figuring it out, you know.
No, history is being made. I mean, you should appreciate that you stepped in.
Yeah, I do appreciate it so much. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking learn how to do it. And so there were times where I get frustrated and I walk away. And then I would think, oh, maybe they have it here. Maybe they do this, you know. And so I would just keep coming in and keep stabbing at it. And then finally I found the little manual to do it on the panel because it's like no information out there is consistent and easy to get to. And I'm like, that's fine because like everything you love is hard. It's hard for a reason, right? And so I figure out how to do it. And without writing anything down, because a lot of the knowledge I have now is almost second nature, and I know just kind of by look and smell and going through the motions already. And I was able to make a really good batch. And then the look of the coffee and all that stuff, you know, I do the best that I can with the machine that I have.
Yeah.
If I have a better machine, I think I could really nail it.
Yeah.
But because of the limitations of the machine, you see some scorching and stuff like that. No problem. No big deal. And I was like, dope. So this is proof. Like, it was just a proof to myself, like, okay, you're faced with a pretty big bump in the road. How are you going to get around it? If this is really your passion and you're really talking about you want to roast coffee, like this is my test to myself.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you going to do? So I was like, fuck, man, like, I just got to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And like, I was really like, kind of like nervous. And I was pressing buttons back there. You could hear it was like fucking beeping. I was like freaking out a little bit. Like, I don't want to do this. I was like getting a little like nervous and anxious.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, press everything. Just like see what it does. Like, don't be afraid of this machine because you don't have this other thing that you learn first, right? And I was like, oh shit, man, like it's even more limited too. Like you don't have the close the door, you don't have the stop the steerer, stuff like that. So I just had to work with what I had. But then I still enjoyed it. I was still having fun. So I was like, cool, man, this is like my proof. Like I passed the test, I think. Like I'm here. I'm here to stay. I'm gonna roast coffee forever. And I think I'm just gonna keep getting better. I'm gonna keep reading shit over and over, and the next time I read, I'm probably gonna learn something new. And people are enjoying it. People are actually like getting excited. I think they're finally like, the more that I do it, the more that I talk about it, they'll see my passion, and they'll see that it's not just this thing that I'm doing on the side. And that's cool, because I want to share it.
Yeah.
I want to share this with people, and I want people to understand coffee or appreciate coffee the way that I do. Like we were telling Hovik.
Yeah,
he was
I think.
like, oh my God, there's like
no,
so much to
you were educating him up the wazoo. I saw his reactions because I was on the other side.
And I was drunk as hell.
But he loved it. He loved it. He got a spin off of it.
Yeah.
And now he's more smart. He's more educated when he goes to the store, just like everyone else would once you start doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So
cool.
it's just showing that how much these challenges and things that everyone likes to do is how are they committed?
Yeah.
You know?
Are you committed?
It's just showing the level of person they are. Are they a committed person? Yeah, versus a person that flakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Fuck, man. Getting deep.
So, just to show, I mean, I would say John was committed to his work. He's been with us probably the longest. But yeah, he was a committed person. And then, if we get invited to his wedding, that's something we will say.
You get invited, damn, dude.
Just joking, man. If you're hearing this.
He doesn't listen.
Yeah. But anyways, like, you know, like you wanna share that about someone because you see it in that person, like, hey, you're committed to your words, you're committed to your actions. And the same thing goes for coffee roasting, for photography. Like, you built all this from ground up. Like, even Black City Coffee was built from ground up.
Yeah.
You're in a whole nother level by now.
Yeah.
Because you're learning things every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time you roast, you're learning something new. Software doesn't work, but I have to not depend on the software, but depend on my actual skills.
Yeah.
Just for the same thing as photo booth didn't work, we had to go shoot it instead, right?
Yeah.
But those are all levels of experience where, you know, we're just learning over time.
Yeah.
So if things were to happen again in a different time, in a more different setting, you'll know what to do.
Yeah. Very true.
So it's great that, you know, it all starts here because we all started from somewhere with photography. We all went through the ropes of failing many times. And you just failed with the software not working, and you failed many times with some burnt beans. So it's awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
I love it.
And me falling many times on the supboard, getting bruises and cuts,
But you do it anyway.
but I love it.
You're going back out tomorrow.
It's a very, like, something addicting because you're passionate and you want it to work and you want the best experience out of this journey with
sure.
it. Yeah.
And it's like that, you get that little bit of, you get better and better every time you go out.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, you get better. I mean, you get better with roasting every time because you start, it's like a muscle memory. You're like, oh, I'm not going to do that again because I got a bad reaction from when I did that.
Yeah.
So.
Do you feel like, you know how you're watching a lot of stuff with your sup surfing and stuff?
Yeah.
So I think there will come a time where you'll have to like put all that shit away and then just be intuitive with the water. You were talking about the fear of, you said something funny where it was like, isn't it hard to breathe underwater? I was like, yes, it's very hard to breathe underwater because you can't breathe. Besides joking, it was just like, yeah, it's like you get so, it's so much harder to like take deep breaths when you're in the ocean because one, you're freaking out a little bit panicking because you know at any point, or you're thinking at any point that you could be taken out by a wave, right? And so I was like...
So the reason why I'm watching all these videos is not for tips. I mean, I'm educating myself about different types of waves, like what's an A-frame look like? When you got onto a wave, do you steer right or you steer left? So you gotta just watch out at the, like, you're always keeping your eye focused on the water.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you're not, you're looking back at shore, you get hit.
Right.
Right. So that's the thing about surfing that's cool, is that once you're out there, you're laser focused.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can be calm
Yeah.
and be one with the water,
Yeah.
but you're paying attention. It will become second nature to me as I'm more aware of what type of waves are coming my way.
Yeah, that's what I was touching on. It's
Yeah.
like you're gonna learn a bunch of theory and all these little things. Like I feel like the same thing with coffee, the same thing with photography. And there will be times that you have to steer away from all that shit, or it's
Yeah.
like you don't even think about it anymore. Where it's more like it's so intuitive.
Yeah.
Because you're so present and in the moment. You know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Like in photography, you know the shot that you want, but you've got some weird situation going on.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know where I want to go. So here, like, you just try to figure it out, and you like, sometimes you have to carve the image. You know what I'm saying? Like you have
Yeah.
to scope the image. You're finding the shot and stuff. The same thing like with coffee. I'm like, I know what I'm looking for. Like I don't want to like explode the bean where it looks like a super like a corn pop.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I would do that because I'm thinking about, oh, they said I'm supposed to hit dry end at 6 minutes, and I was supposed to hit first crack at 8 minutes 56. Like,
But
you know?
nothing's too literal. Like,
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
just use your mind and your eyes and your senses, and you have your
you have to
knowledge.
trust your knowledge.
Trusting,
Yeah.
and being like more present with it. Like I'm feeling it here, so I'm gonna just
Yeah.
do this here. So I was like, cool. I think
Yeah.
you'll get to that point for sure.
Yeah, I'm slowly. If I was to relate to coffee, it's very similar. You have, before you actually surf. Not everyone does it if they've been surfing for a while, because they already know it's second nature to them. But for someone that's starting out, you can't surf. You can't go right into the water. You just need to stare and time the sets.
The
Like
waves.
yeah, like the waves. Like when does it crash? So how long does it take till it crashes?
Oh, that's why you're
Right.
counting.
So I was counting. I was like, it's like 12, 13 seconds in San Onofre. Like, and then what type of waves are coming your way? What type of sets are these coming? Is it like two big ones, then one little small one, or is
Yeah.
two big ones and then there's nothing?
So you have the pattern in your head and you go
Yeah,
out
and you go out and you're like, okay, it's about to crash at 12 seconds, but I have that many seconds to paddle,
Yeah.
or I know what's about to come my way, so I'm more prepared to duck underneath the wave when it comes. Yeah, so you're not stuck in the rut of
Yeah.
whitewash.
Yeah. So you know what's on, like you can read the data basically.
Yeah.
When I would first start looking at the coffee roast, it was like, what the fuck is that? Like there's like so
Yeah.
many of these things. I'm like, what's this? What's
It's very
this, what's
similar
this?
of how you're reading the graphs
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything. And predicting.
And predicting, yeah.
You have to predict a little bit, just like with anything in photography, wedding
yeah,
photography,
predict,
we
yeah.
predict.
A
And
lot.
So it's the same thing with surfing. You just need to predict that you're going to get on.
You're gonna say you're gonna get wiped out or something.
You're going to get on that wave, right?
You're gonna
You're
get smashed.
Yeah, and it's also positive thinking. There's a lot in
The
anything.
confidence, right?
Yeah, everything that we do for photography, for you to roast, you're confident that your roast is going to turn out the best. Same with photography. The moment I step into the hotel room, I know this day is going to be smooth sailing. I'm going to have the best experience, and I'm going to provide the best experience for our couples. And that positive thinking attracts throughout the day, and you just gave a really good experience to everyone.
Yeah.
And then with surfing, because you're playing with Mother Nature, you just need to feel, you got to be confident. No negative thinking of you're going to get wiped out all the time. And that's
How do you
me.
do that?
It's hard because now, I it's not like photography that can hurt you. Roasting can't hurt you unless you grab beans while it was hot.
Yeah.
With surfing, it can hurt you, right? No wave is ever the same.
Yeah.
No wedding is ever the same. No roast is ever the same, right?
Yeah.
And the most challenging thing for me is facing my fears, which before this incident of me almost drowning with having a leash over like both of my foot, being going down that felt like was 14 feet. Before that, I was having fun.
Yeah.
Before that, water was just water.
Yeah.
yeah, falling in waves was just falling in water.
Yeah.
That's how I thought of it. And I'm trying to think of that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, before that incident.
Yeah.
That
You had to break up with water.
yeah, I have to yeah.
Yeah.
I need to break up with that mindset that water is just water and waves only happen at this certain area. Beyond that, there's no waves.
Yeah, you can go under it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there's no waves. The turbulent is just right here. Is only in this section. If you kind of think about it,
Right.
you look beyond there. There's
nothing.
There's nothing else
Yeah.
out there to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what I have to think about.
Yeah.
It's like you have to think about, okay, the force is just a force of water. Yeah, you're going to get tumbled and you're going to get dragged. You're going to do all that, but just know that
It's temporary.
It's temporary, yeah. It only happens for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And that 5 second may feel a little long, but
Yeah.
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 And I'm just reminding myself, trying not to panic.
Well,
I
yeah.
hate panicking because I feel like when I'm out there, like just going out without my board, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go to those 3 foot, 4 foot and have it slam on me and still swim.
Yeah.
But then it brings me back when I start having a board next to me.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like lugging this other body with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, into the water.
Maybe you just need a better relationship with your board.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I have to lug this thing. It's like,
I need to trust it.
Yeah, think of it as it's like it's an extension of you.
Yeah.
Tom always said, trust your equipment, right?
Yeah.
You're like, like you're always like thinking you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Like learning to trust your body too.
Yeah.
Trust your lungs to hold the air. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just 5 seconds. You can hold your breath for 5 seconds,
Yeah.
right? So it's like if you can take yourself through the craziest moment
Yeah.
in a calm way and like maybe in your mind, because that's where it all starts, right? It's all in your mind.
It's all in your mind. If it wasn't for that, I think I would still go out there and like make even like having a better experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
with that fear base, I'm staying in the center. You seen me? I was like just right there.
yeah, and
just
you
doing
bail a lot. You bail pretty quickly
these 1 or 2 footers, right? So
because you have a very small fin, so it's not like you have those long ass fins. I feel like you can keep going. 'Cause
Yeah.
When I was recording you, and then the wave kept going, I feel like you can go longer.
no, I saw where it was heading. It was heading towards shore. I didn't want to hit those rocks.
I see.
Yeah, you already know how shallow it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
But that's because I'm right there in the middle. So that's where the waves will start to form and it will push you into shore.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got you.
The other thing that I learned that was pretty cool is that there's 5 things that influence waves. The swell, the wind. So wind is important because there's onshore and offshore wind. And when it's onshore, it makes everything very choppy. When it's offshore, that's when it starts to curve, it starts to push slowly,
Which is good.
which is good. You want offshore wind.
Offshore.
Yeah.
Coming from offshore.
Yeah, from offshore.
So it's coming
from somewhere
from-
else. Like
Oh.
another hurricane in a different state.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not coming from where the coast is.
Yeah,
That's bad.
that's bad. That's onshore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Offshore. Okay. Cool.
And then, that was like one cool thing. The tide, low tide versus high tide, it determines where the waves will break close to shore or away from shore.
Yeah.
Also, the reefs as well, the rocks or the ground. Yeah. That's why a lot of people learn how to surf in Hawaii because there will be miles and miles of like reefs, but then it causes a current and slows down the wave and how it
But
comes.
if you fall in a reef.
Yeah, you may fall in a reef, which hurts. So,
Fuck
but you just need to
that.
be very safe.
Fuck that. I've done that.
Yeah.
In Guam, and it freaking hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
You got blood after it.
Yeah, freaking hurts. Leopard shark starts to come.
Okay, cool. So, I have no idea what time we're at right now. Hold on, let me check.
Oh wow, is 1 already?
Is it?
Shoot.
So we've been talking for a long ass time?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I want it to be more conversational. Sometimes I feel like the show is too rushed because I feel like I have so much to say and I only have this show to say it in. And so I feel like this time I think I did a good job basically by just keeping listening more.
Yeah.
And being a little bit more calmer with my words. And I think it's fine to be animated and stuff, but like I want us to have a really good interaction, I guess, on the show, and have it mean something real. And more, I just want it to be more real, more authentic, and more genuine, and not be this thing of like doing it for numbers or doing it for.
Yeah, we're not doing it for views. We're just doing it
this
for
is our therapy.
for
this is our time to
ourselves.
To each other.
Yeah,
this is our time.
Yeah,
and I get more and more encouraged too because I listen to Bart and Gio's podcast. In the beginning, when I watch them,
yeah,
their very first shows, Bart is loud and obnoxious and just playing to the camera, playing to his character that everybody knows him as Bart. And then same thing with Gio, right? And I was like, this is kind of annoying because I know it's fake.
Yeah.
And then I keep watching them, and they, the most recent one that they did was so inspiring and encouraging just as a couple because they deal with like almost exactly what we do.
Yeah.
That's why I follow them, because it's a nice mirror, it's a nice model for us. And I like to see somebody on the outside and then they share what they do and they share their little lessons and stuff. And like, it's very much like they're a little steps ahead of us in terms of like being communicative and having the podcast be somewhere like they say the same thing. It's like we're so busy doing the things that we're doing, but we take the time when we do the podcast. We are dialed into each other because now that they have a child, they have many businesses, so they get really like separated from each other. Even though you live and work in the same place, it's all work. So the podcast, it started out as something like kind of like a chore, like look at all this stuff I have to do, right? And then I go edit it later. But the time that we take to be present and to have a real conversation, and for me to tell you, oh, I need words of affirmation from you, or oh, I'm struggling with eating, so don't offer me cheese. You know, to be just real straight up with each other. And it seems like, can't you just do that without a podcast? Well, sometimes you get in the habit of just like doing your shit and you don't take the time. So this is so good that it's like for couples who go to couples therapy just to talk to each other, you have to pay for that shit. Like this shit is free. So like this is us doing the work and putting in the time into our relationship. And I think more and more people should do it. It kind of seems like a chore and stuff, but to me it's like second nature. So for us, I think it's so important that we continue to do this, and I see that it works with other couples. I see their communication is tighter. They're friendlier and lighter with each other. It used to also take things very personally, and you'd see it on camera.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, cool. This is like a real relationship that I can learn from.
Yeah.
And I want to take that into my relationship. And that's exactly what I want to do here. It's like, yes, the intent is for us. If other couples like our clients can get something out of it, that's great. That's perfect. If you get to know us as people, that's awesome. But yeah, for us to take the time and we're dialed into each other and there's no distraction, yeah, that's great. Like
that's why we're doing it.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're with me. So, and that it's like it feels so natural now. Like I don't feel like I'm dragging you.
Yeah.
And it's like now it's like there's no pushback, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna go do the podcast. Cool. Like before, there would be so much talk afterward.
Yeah.
Right? Or I have to convince you again and pitch you again why the podcast is good for us.
Yeah.
And now I don't hear anything, which is awesome.
Okay.
All right, cool. So next week,
we'll have a special.
Share anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So next week we're having a special what?
So yeah, next week we have a special guest, Jeff Koga, the person that suggested the name for our podcast, Past the Aisle.
Yeah.
So he will be joining us. We'll be
I have so much to thank
casting at our home.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Join us at our home. Finally get to see our new house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so much to thank him for. He's been really instrumental in so many so many lessons for me personally. So I can't wait to have him on and see where he's at. He's gone through a lot of changes as well that I would love to like dive in deep with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always wanted to get you two to talk, so that'll be great too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good things. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you, guys.
On Pass the Aisle. And you can follow us on
Spotify, on Anchor,
iTunes.
and iTunes. And YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah. If my video didn't cut out.
Yeah.
Follow Chi on Instagram. He's at Kevin Levu. And then you can follow our Instagram, like as a couple.
At the Levus.
At the Levus, yeah, exactly. Alrighty, we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.